All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Gorowski, and I'll be your host for today. This week is all about our planet. So we are talking to scientists, explorers, conservationists, taking virtual field trips around the world to look at our changing planet, the people who are monitoring what's happening, and then those who are working on solutions as well to protect our biodiversity and conserve this amazing place that we call home. This week is Call to Earth with CNN. So tomorrow they are doing a big event where they will be sharing some stories that they've covered throughout the year on the channel and on their website. And we thought it would be fun to team up and share some stories with classrooms, give classrooms a chance to meet some of the people behind these stories. So we're really excited. This morning we were in the Osa Peninsula in Costa Rica. And today we're going to head to the UK. And we are really excited to be spending a little time with an amazing big cat sanctuary in the UK. We're going to join them live in just a moment. We're going to have Jill join us and take us into the really cool work that they are doing there at the Hertfordshire Zoo in the UK. And we are also going to have a chance to ask some questions. We've got classrooms joining us in camera spots, classrooms joining us live via YouTube. So keep those questions ready, your big cat questions, because we're going to get a chance to ask them today. I'm going to bring in Jill live with us right now. Hey, Jill, how are you?
Hi, everybody.
Jill, it's great to have you connecting live with us. This is our first time doing an event with you guys. We're really excited to learn more about the work that's being done at the Big Cat Sanctuary.
Hi, well, thank you very much for having me. My name is Jill and I'm Head of Conservation Education here at the Big Cat Sanctuary. We're down in Kent in the south of England, and we are a sanctuary for cats, big and small here, and we work on conservation, welfare, breeding, rescue, and really importantly, education as well. So I'm going to give you a little talk first of all about what we do here, and then our episode today is going to focus on jaguars and how amazing they are. So firstly, here at the sanctuary, we have 36 cats, and we have 11 different species, from Amur tigers, which are your biggest cat species in the world, right down to the smallest cat species in the world, which is the rusty spotted cat, which is not much bigger than a squirrel. And we've got lots in between, such as pumas, servals, caracals, lions. We've got a real mix of amazing animals here as well. And we just focus on cats. That's our deal. There are actually 40 cat species in the world. Wild cats, your domestic cats are separate to that. So we're very lucky to have a nice wide variety here. Now, behind me, one of our really new exciting things that we have going on, this is one of our new pillars of rescue. We think it's really important to be able to give animals a home here for lots of different reasons. As I said, we've got some here for breeding that are really, really important for those threatened species that might go extinct, that we can breed them and contribute to those programs. And now our rescue pillar is focusing on our first cats that are coming from the Ukraine war zone there. We've got 5 lions, 4 females and a male that were all unfortunately abandoned when the war broke out and weren't in the best of conditions. And along with other amazing animal charities and zoos, we are now giving them a forever home in the peaceful countryside. So it looks quite like a building site here behind me, but this is our brand new Lion Rescue Centre. It's going to be state of the art. It is going to have on-show and off-show dens and lovely big enclosures. So far, one of those lions is with us. That is Yuna, one of the females. When she came here, it was the first time she had ever walked on grass in her life. It was an amazing thing to see her come out, and she has grown in so much confidence since she's been here. And we've been doing some amazing fundraising for our Big Cats in Crisis campaign, as well, to continue the rest of the rescue centre and hopefully bring over the others very, very soon. So there's lots of exciting new work we've got going on. If you're interested in finding out more about the sanctuary as a whole, you can visit our website, thebigcatsanctuary.org, and you can also visit our social media channels on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube and TikTok. And you can also find the link as well, which I'm sure is going to be shown, to our Big Cats in Crisis campaign. So if you want to get involved, even from across the other side of the world, to donating and supporting the rescue of these amazing animals, please do. and you can keep up to date on our website and online with their journey too. But thank you very much for joining in today and hearing about the amazing work that we have going on. So I'm going to turn around now and I'm going to introduce you to one of our first jaguars. She was here and she's wandered off, so I might have to give her a call. Kira! Kira! Now we have 3 jaguars here at the sanctuary and you're going to get to meet all 3 this afternoon. She's stalking through the bushes here. Come on, Kira. So they do like to do some of those natural hunting behaviours of stalking. Here she comes. You can see she's very, very excited. So I am going to give her a little treat here to be a good girl for coming over. So I have some chicken drumsticks and I've got some horse meat here as well. Now Kira is 7 years old and she is one of our female jaguars. And I've got to say, jaguars are amazing animals. They come from 19 countries across Central and South America there, mainly living in heavily dense rainforested areas. And they are the top trumps of cats, really. They are good at everything. Now, firstly, they learn to swim from an early age when they are babies. Their mums will teach them how to swim. She'll encourage them to come into the water. And often, sometimes they might need a little nudge if they're a bit nervous. But those swimming skills are really, really important because everything is on the menu for jaguars. They hunt things like caiman, which is a lot like a crocodile or alligator. They hunt them in the water and they'll hunt anacondas as well in the water, which is the world's largest snake species there. Not only are they good at swimming, they are really, really good climbers too. Now you might be able to see these lovely claws here. Another piece here, she's been such a good girl. So she's got these lovely claws here that you can see. They're what we call retractable. So usually they're away, but when she wants to grab something, nice close up of a jaguar claw here, if you can see that. So this is what they will look like. And what they'll do is that when they're climbing those trees, they'll eat things like monkeys as well that are also on the menu. She's enjoying her food there. Kira's very food orientated. They also run about 35 to 40 miles per hour on land, and they will hunt things like capybara, tapir and deer as well on the jungle and rainforest floor there. They are incredibly, incredibly stealthy. They can move through the trees and the bushes without barely making a sound, so you don't even know that they are there sometimes. And lastly, they have the strongest bite force pound for pound of any cat species. That is double the strength of a lion's bite. So their bite force is about 1,500 pounds per a square inch there. And I do have this lovely jaguar skull. So this is a jaguar skull, as you can see here. This is a replica, not real, but it is based off a real one. You can see they've got these amazing canine teeth here at the front. They are like your forks. They're going to hold on to the prey. And then you've got these teeth here, the carnassials, that are like your knives. They're going to slice up that food. And the reason they've got such a powerful bite force is because of this ridge here. This is called the sagittal crest. And what it does is all those muscles around the jaw join onto this sagittal crest and give it that powerful bite there. And if you look at Kira here, you'll be able to see she's got a very thick, muscular head all round here as well. And you could hear her crunching through the bones. They can even crunch straight through sea turtle shells and eat the flesh out of the middle there. And in places like Costa Rica, along the water's edge and the beaches, you do often find jaguars hunting sea turtles that come up on land to breed. So they are very, very impressive cats. A little bit of an extra fact there for you with how they hunt is that most cats go for the jugular, so they go for the throat there to suffocate their prey, or go for that jugular vein, but not our jaguars here. They crunch straight through the skull to incapacitate their prey, and they are very, very good at it. They're also very clever cats. They are apex predators in their environment. And basically what that means is they are top of the food chain. There is nothing much that is a threat to them except for humans, unfortunately. Things like deforestation is the biggest problem for jaguars. Forest fires in places like the Amazon and currently the Pantanal in Brazil have had terrible forest fires where they've lost loads of their habitat. Between 2016 and 2019, the forest fires in the Amazon rainforest actually destroyed an area the size of Belgium there. And it's not just our lovely jaguars that are affected, but it is everything else in that food chain and ecosystem, which is just as important. Which is why not only do we look after these lovely jaguars here and educate with them, but we support lots of charities around the world as well that help protect those habitats and those cats in the wild. So we all work together to that common goal of protecting our species here. I am going to give Kira one last chicken drumstick here. One of the nice things about us doing ham feeds is that it's a good way for us to do a health check. I can give a good check on Kira's belly, her legs. I can look at her paw pads and claws here, make sure that she's got no injuries. We can also have a nice look at her face, her eyes, her teeth as well. And this just allows us to make sure that we're looking after them to the best of our ability and that we are making sure that they are in good health and good condition as well. Did you enjoy that, Kira? Now, before we move on, because the next two jaguars that we're going to see are black jaguars. They look a little bit different, and I'll tell you why as well. But you may notice Kira's markings. Now, often jaguars and leopards get confused. People often don't know how to tell the difference. Apart from them living in completely different places in the wild and jaguars being much more muscular, the rosette pattern on a jaguar is quite open. And you'll see, especially on the back part, she's got tiny dots in the middle of those rosettes. Leopards do not have that. Their rosettes are much closer together and they do not have the dots inside, which is a good way to tell them apart. So thank you very much, Kira. I'm going to tell her they're all gone, that I haven't got anything left for her. And she's going to probably go off now. She's going to have a lovely wash, make sure she's got all that flesh off of her. And we are going to get ready now to go and meet Maya. Maya is a very special jaguar. She has an amazing story of being hand-reared here at the Big Cat Sanctuary. And we're in a second going to play a little video for you to introduce Maya before we watch her come out to have some playtime today. So if you'd like to play the video for me, Joe, that would be amazing. Hello, so hopefully there that you saw a little introduction to Maya, who was hand-reared here from a baby and did have some health complications, such as mobility problems with her legs and vision problems with her eyes. And lots of therapies helped that. And she's now the beautiful 7-year-old Jaguar that we have today. Hand-rearing a cat is a last resort. We always want the mums to do that, but sometimes that is just not the case, and sometimes they need a bit of extra help. But Maya has been a great ambassador for Jaguar. She was the star of Big Cats About the House. And as you can see here, she comes. She's got a lovely toy here today. So she has a cardboard box, because no matter what size cat you are, they always love a cardboard box. And inside, she has some straw. Now, this straw is from one of our cheetah beds. The reason we've given her this is because in the wild, cats come across lots of new smells all the time. This makes them curious, it makes them playful, and it gets those hunting instincts as well. Now, by having it from the cheetah's bed, she's exploring new scents from a different cat. But on the outside of the box, we have something else. This is Elizabeth Arden Red Door perfume, and it is one of her favourite smells. She's got quite expensive taste. And we use lots of new smells all the time for the cats, including catnip, herbs and spices, oils, perfumes and aftershaves, coffee, Marmite as well, to make sure that they are playing and having fun. Now, if you've got a pet at home, like a dog or a cat, you're probably going to give them toys to play with because it keeps them fit physically, but also it provides mental stimulation for them to work things out. And this is what we do with our cats as well. So they'll get different toys. Like I said, we've got the cardboard box with the straw in here, but sometimes they might get balls. They may have puzzle feeders for their food. They may have scent trails and lots of different toys like barrels as well. And then we also make sure we give them food in an enriching way too. So in the wild, their food doesn't turn up on a silver platter for them to have. They've got to work from it, and we try to do that as well. So for large cats like Maya here, we might put it under a log pile, so she's got to use her strength to search for it. We might do a scatter feed where we chop it up small, and they've got to go around and find all the pieces using that sense of smell. For climbing cats like leopards as well, we might hang it up in trees. And for smaller cats, like our servals, we even put it in puzzle feeders, just like you'd get for your dogs or cats at home. So we're going to watch her here for a second, enjoying her box here. You can see she is rubbing her face all over it. That means she really, really likes the smell. They've got scent glands in their cheeks there, so she's also marking it as hers. As you can see, she is really, really enjoying that box there. I don't know if you can hear at the moment, but we've got some lions roaring around us. I don't know. Can you pick that up there? Can you hear that, Joe?
Yeah, we can hear that in the background.
Yeah. So that's our lions roaring. So lastly, hopefully you enjoyed seeing Maya there as well, playing with her toys. Again, an important part of looking after our cats. We're going to go and meet our final Jaguar near on. He is our big male. I might need to convince him to come outside. He does like the warmth of his bed, but again, I've got some lovely snacks for him, so hopefully we encourage him to come out there. All of our cats here at the sanctuary have their own personalities. Some are shy, some are more outgoing and confident, some are more playful, some like to sleep more, and that's what makes it amazing. Because lots of people think, oh, cats, ears, whiskers, tails are all the same, but that's not true. They're all very different and all very special as well. Neron! Neron! Good boy, come on. So this is lovely Neron. So we're going to walk him round. Come on, Neron. Neron is our male. He is also 7 years old. And you'll see he's actually bigger than the 2 females, Maya and Kira. And that is quite normal for the males to be bigger like that. Otherwise, they don't look very much different to each other. It's not like lions where they've got the big mane for the males. They're just going to be a little bit bigger, but look very, very similar. And I'm going to tell you all about why Neron and Maya are black and Kira is golden with the spots. We're going to take him round to a nice spot where he can have his hand feed. We can do that nice and safely for him and for us as well. Hello, Neron. Hi. How are you today, buddy? Hi, Neron. Isn't he gorgeous? He is a very, very handsome boy. You can definitely see that big, thick, strong head there and those jaws. But really, he is a bit of a gentle giant there as well. So, oh, look, he is giving us a show there rolling around. He's clearly very excited. Good boy. So our jaguars come in 2 different colours. Now, the more natural colour is what Kira is, the golden with the spots. However, about 10% of jaguars in the wild, and there are other cat species that this has been documented in, they're what we call melanistic, which means they are black like this. This is a genetic mutation which causes an overproduction of pigment in the cells, making them dark black like this. Now, for a jaguar that lives in the dense rainforest, this is actually quite helpful because if you imagine, this adds an extra layer of camouflage there for them. You often find it in cats that only live in heavily forested areas there, because if you imagine, if you're out in the open in this colour, that is not the most helpful because you can't camouflage. But Neron's quite special. I'm going to get him up here. So I don't know if you can see around his face, on his belly, and down the sides of him, you can actually see his rosette pattern coming through. Now, this is because those rosettes, just the same as tiger stripes, are actually on the cat's skin. So if I was to shave them, you'd see that pattern on their skin. And this is how it comes through as well on the cat's fur. Now, it is quite unusual for it to be this clear on a melanistic jaguar. They're more like Maya where it's harder to see, but Neron is quite special with that. Also, his daughter, Inca, who he had with Kira a couple of years ago, looks just like him. I'm going to see if I can walk him up and down slightly so you can get a better view of his pattern there as well. Because it is very, very beautiful. Now, this genetic mutation that they have, as I said, it is quite rare. Only 10% in the wild do have it. But as it is helpful, they have equal survival rates as their golden counterparts. So they are fine to breed, they are fine to breed with each other, and they are fine to go back in the wild as well. So I'm going to give Neron one last hand feed here. I've got some chance to finish these out. Again. And one more, good boy. So the chunks of flesh here are horse meat. That's what makes up the majority of their diet, because nutritionally it is the best thing we can give for them. They get their big main meals 3 times a week. Sorry, got a helicopter going over. Because in the wild they're gorge feeders. They eat lots in one go. They've got quite slow metabolisms, so they need time to wear that off. And things like the chicken drumsticks here, where they're just an extra special treat for our cats. All gone near him. Good boy. He doesn't want to miss any tiny pieces. All gone. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed meeting all 3 of our jaguars there, Kieran, Maya and Neron. I don't know about you, we think they're pretty spectacular here, and I do think that the jaguars are an amazing species with lots of special things about them. So what we'll do is we're very happy now to answer some questions for you. I think it's probably best we'll go round and stand in front of Maya, so you can see her probably still playing in the background. How does that sound, Joe?
All right, Jill, that sounds great. While you're making your way back to Maya, I made a little Kahoot quiz while you were presenting for the kids. So we're going to test their knowledge and see what they learned today. And then we're going to get into that Q&A action. So I'm going to share my screen here. Just bear with me for a moment while it loads. Oh, there we go. I hit the wrong part. Try that one more time. There we go. So if you're going to join us for the Kahoot, go to and it's going to ask you for a PIN number. Today's PIN number is 7316759. So if you're able to, and you have devices at your seats, you could join on a tablet or something like a Chromebook. It's 7316759. If not, your teacher could pop this up at the front of the room. You could shout out your answers to him or her. If you can't join with technology, that's no big deal at all. You can still play along in your classroom and see how you do. So I can see we've got lots of groups joining already, like the Bright Panther, the Radiant Fox, the Brave Llama, the Cheerful Finch. That's great. The Noble Wildcat. Very cool. If you're tuning in via YouTube, use the chat right now. You can start to send in some questions for Jill. And then after our Kahoot, we will visit some of our camera classrooms and we'll take some of their questions. So I'm going to give it about 30 more seconds. Ooh, the Classy Jaguar just joined us. So let's see how the Classy Jaguar does in our live action. I'm going to give about 30 seconds. We'll play our Kahoot, and then we'll spend the rest of our time doing some Q&A together. Yeah. And so, Jill, maybe just while we're waiting, I'll ask you a quick question just about the Jaguars there. So you said you have 3 Jaguars there. Yes. And you mentioned raising them as well. Do you have a breeding program with Jaguars at the sanctuary?
We do actually have a breeding program for Jaguars here. So Kira, the golden one, and Neron, that male who you just saw, originally they were picked up as part of the breeding program, and 3 years ago they had a daughter called Inca, and turned out the black Jaguar. She is now at another zoo at Hertfordshire Zoo, up a bit more north in the UK. And lovely Maya here, who's come to say hello. She is also now part of the breeding program. And funnily enough, her best match for that was Neron, her neighbour. So we are slowly putting Neron and Maya together. It takes some time. We've got to get them used to each other, make sure they like each other and that they're safe around each other. And then hopefully we'll be able to mix them soon, and we might have another Jaguar baby on the way, which would be very, very exciting for us.
All right. Very cool. And that's a good way, through that program to pass the young on to other zoos. That way we're not taking them from the wild. So it's definitely the right way to do it.
Exactly. We never want to take anything from the wild. Our end goal is to hopefully put cats back into the wild one day. Unfortunately, for many cat species and lots of other animal species, this is very, very hard to do because their habitats aren't very safe due to lots of human-induced threats there. So as people, one of the things we need to really work on is reducing those threats, such as deforestation, poaching, climate change, all of those things. So make these habitats safe again for animals so that we can start putting them back into the wild as well, where they belong. So the breeding program in zoos and the breeding program we belong to, we go between Europe and worldwide as well. Is basically a plan B, a safety net, a backup population of these cat species that could potentially go extinct one day, with the hope that they won't, and that we can put them back in the wild as well. But for now, we're doing all we can here in captivity to promote that as well.
All right. Well, let's play some Kahoot. I'm going to hit start now. There's some true and false. Oh, I hear the lions again.
Yeah, I know. They're quite noisy this afternoon.
All right. First question. The smallest big cat in the world is it the serval, the rusty spotted cat, the ocelot, or the jaguar? So you have about 15 more seconds to lock in your answer. Is the smallest big cat the serval, the rusty spotted cat, the ocelot, or the jaguar? All right, good job, crew. It is the rusty spotted cat. Let's see what that does to our leaderboard. We've got the bright raven in that top spot for now. Let's go to a true and false question. A jaguar's bite is the same strength as a lion. So we heard our lion friends in the background a minute ago. Is the jaguar's bite the same strength as a lion? True or false? Jaguar's bite is the same strength as a lion. Got about 5 seconds to lock in that answer. Ooh, a little bit of a spread, but that is false. It's twice as strong. That's pretty wild. We could hear those chicken bones crunching like nothing. Definitely don't want to try that at home, because we could definitely not do that. But that's a pretty impressive show of the jaguar's strength, the way they crunch through those bones so easily. That puts the proud crane in first place. Let's go to our next question. Another multiple choice. Jaguars are found in how many countries? Was it 3, 7, 15, or as many as 19 different countries? So jaguars are found in 3, 7, 15, or 19 different countries around the world. 5 more seconds to lock in your answer. All right. It is 19 countries around the world. I was very lucky. Earlier this year in April, I was in Peru in the Amazon rainforest, and I saw a jaguar in the wild. So that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's not easy. They're elusive. Sometimes you see their paw prints. So I was very excited to see my first jaguar in the wild. Let's see. The proud octopus has snatched first place, but we have one more question to go. New smells are an important part of enrichment for big cats at the sanctuary. Is that true or is that false? That new smells are an important part of enrichment for big cats at the sanctuary. True or false? Got about 10 seconds to lock in that answer. Are those new smells important enrichment? Good job, crew. That's absolutely true. Let's take a look at our podium. In third place, we've got the proud crane. In second place, the bright raven. And holding down that top spot, the proud octopus held on for those last 2 questions. Very cool. All right, crew, thanks for playing along. I am going to stop my screen share, turn off that music, and the rest of our time will be questions with Jill. If you're tuning in via YouTube, use the chat sidebar, the live chat, and send us in your questions. But for now, let's go to Madame Wood's class and see if they have any questions about our jaguars, our big cats. There we go. Hey, Toronto, how are we doing today?
Hi, good afternoon. Good morning. We have Adam. He has a question.
So, how do you know if if it's a jaguar, if it's a female jaguar or a male jaguar?
That's a really good question. Now, it is quite hard to tell. like I said before, unlike lions, where it's quite clear because the males have a big name, with lots of other cat species, including jaguars, it is not very clear. We actually call this sexual dimorphism, which means the difference in physical features between male and females. Aside from having boys and girls' body parts, the male jaguars just tend to be a little bit bigger. So yeah, it can be quite difficult on first look to know if they are boys or girls there.
Thank you.
All
You're
right.
welcome. Great question.
You got another question there? If someone's ready, we can pop them up, or we can come back.
Maybe come back to us, please.
Yeah.
We have more questions.
Absolutely. We'll come
Thanks.
back shortly. I'm going to go to some fourth graders in just a moment. But before I do, I'll grab another question off via YouTube. And so it's obvious that there's a lot of food needed for the big cats. So they're wondering where the food comes from for your cats.
Great question as well. So some of our cats eat different things. All the big ones, like your lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars, snow leopards, and although technically a puma is a small cat, we include it in our big cats. They all eat horse as their main part of their diet, and that comes from a local abattoir. Now, this is where lots of people here in the UK, they end up donating their pets or ex-racehorses that have passed away. Instead of incinerating them, which means burn them, which you usually have to do with livestock, they donate it to this abattoir that then prepares it to send to us. We do pay for it, but it's a lot cheaper than beef. It's better for the planet and it's better nutritionally. But also, by people donating their passed away animals there, it can go back into the circle of life and feed our cats. For our smaller cats, so cheetahs, for example, they eat venison and rabbit and chicken. The venison and the rabbit are culled locally and delivered to us. And then things like chicks, rats, quails, they are farmed off of site as well. So we have various different places. We have to really make sure that our food is all coming from a really good source, so that we make sure we don't pass anything on to our cats as well.
All right, very cool. I'm going to bring in our fourth graders here from Hunley Park. How are we doing, fourth graders?
Good.
All right, we're ready.
Which one has the stronger bite in, the female or the male?
It would be, out of these three, it would be Neron, because he is a much bigger male and he has a bigger head there. The girls would be a little bit less, but they've still got very strong bite force compared to other cats, such as the lions there. Theirs would be stronger, some of the big lions, if not stronger still, despite their size. But Neron, with his big size there and that very big muscular head, he's definitely got the biggest bite force there and the strongest one.
All right, great question, Bud. Do we have another question there?
What do the animals do on like a daily basis?
Could you say that again? It was a little bit crackly, so I couldn't quite hear all the question.
What do the animals do on a daily basis?
Oh, well, they do on a daily basis. So like a diary of a cat here. Well, cats are very, very lazy. Most cats, especially those big ones, they sleep 17 to 20 hours a day. Lions definitely do sleep that much. So they will spend a lot of their time sleeping there as well. They will explore their environment. Maya's just come up again to be nosy, but just now she was climbing up on one of their platforms, sitting there. She was watching the builders, so they like to watch what's happening. They'll have their food on their feed days to explore. They'll also have their enrichment, but they've got lots of other lovely things in their enclosure. You can see here that Maya's got this lovely pond, especially when the weather is warmer. Then jaguars and tigers will definitely be in that pond there. But otherwise, they do just spend a lot of their time just resting and sleeping as well. In the wild, hunting and just surviving on a daily basis, because there's lots of threats around them and things to think about, it uses up a lot of energy, both mentally and physically. So that's why they normally would rest a lot anyway, so to conserve as much energy as possible for day-to-day survival. They obviously don't have very tough lives here, but that's still built in them to be a little bit on the lazy side.
All right, very cool. Oh, is that a hand there? You can go ahead, Bud, if you have a question. Yep.
How long does a jaguar is alive?
Brilliant question. So in captivity, so in places like zoos, we're gonna expect them to live to their late teens, early 20s. We did have a jaguar here who was the oldest in the UK, who was 20 years old. And the reason they live so long in captivity is because we can give them health checks and veterinary care when they need it. We make sure they get fed health, medicine, exercise as well. Sorry, we're right by a train track. In the wild, however, they're going to live a lot less than that, maybe 10 to 12 years in the wild. So it is quite a bit less in captivity most of the time there. But great question.
Thanks, fourth graders. We'll see if we can swing back maybe for one more towards the end, but I can see more up at the camera in Madame Wood's class.
How fast can a jaguar swim?
A swim? Oh, that's a really good one. How fast can they swim? I don't know if I know that answer, actually. I know they can run about 25, 35 miles per hour on land. It's not going to be as fast as that, but they are pretty strong swimmers. I have seen jaguars in the wild down in the Pantanal in Brazil. I have watched them hunting for capybara in the water, and capybara are very, very quick. And the jaguars aren't quite as quick, but they can keep up pretty well. But I love that. I might have to go and look up what the actual speed is there. Okay. But they are strong swimmers and they can swim for quite a long time as well. But I love that question. You've made me think there and want to learn a bit more too.
Thank you. We have another question, if that's okay.
Of course.
Ivy, okay, you guys. Oh, we have a few questions.
That's okay. We can do a couple more.
Thanks.
Which one lives longer, the female or the male?
In captivity, it's going to be pretty much very similar, same really, because they're getting that same care. With jaguars and some other cats like lions, potentially in the wild, the female might live a little bit longer.
Thank you.
Because males often fight over territories and protect them, but that's not a hard and fast rule really. May fight a little bit more with other males, so they might have more injuries there.
Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead, guys.
How much?
You're welcome.
How much food can they consume?
So in a sitting, we probably give them about, I think it's about 5 to 6 kilos maybe for the big male there per sitting, and they eat 3 times a week there. It's going to be similar in the wild. However, in the wild, they're not going to feed so regularly. So, you know, jaguars can eat a caiman in one sitting in the wild, and that's really going to fill them up. They might not eat for a good few more days after that as well. So here we monitor all their food weights that we give them. In the wild, they're going to be more opportunistic, and sometimes they're going to eat bigger meals on some days and smaller meals on others, depending on what is available to hunt.
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Go for it. You can have one more. Yeah.
How much water do they drink in a day?
Again, that can depend sometimes on the cat. Some like to drink more than others. They all have a few different troughs of water inside their dens and outside in their enclosures. They may drink half of those troughs in a day. They'll drink more if they've had a big meal, because obviously they need to wash that down. Also, if it is hot weather, we find that they'll drink a lot more to keep cool and hydrated in the heat. At the moment, it is cold and wintry here, so they might drink a little bit less as well. Although they've got those nice water troughs, if they've got a pond, sometimes they do like to have a little drink out of their pond as well. But yeah, they do need to stay nice and hydrated. But cats get a lot of their water and hydration from their food. That is a big main source for them there as well. So they're able to get a lot from their diet.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for those questions. So you mentioned 5 to 6 kilos of food. So for some classes, pounds, that's more like 15 pounds. Could you imagine sitting down for dinner and eating 15 pounds of food? That would be pretty hard for us to do. Crazy. Very cool. Okay, I'm going to check in one more time with our fourth graders, see if they have one more question for us, and then I'll take one from YouTube before we wrap up.
That's it.
Which one develops faster, the female or the male?
Oh, a good question. Again, it is quite similar. They reach adulthood and kind of fully develop between 18 months to 2 years old. And from about 2 years onward, they are usually ready to breed. So it is quite similar between them both, to be honest.
All right. Okay, one more question here from YouTube before we say goodbye for today. You mentioned that the breeding program, the overall goal is to release, hopefully one day back into the wild when things are maybe a bit more stable, when the habitat is better protected. Do you know of any releases from captivity that have ever happened before? Or is it just too early?
No, yeah, definitely. So in terms of cats, so the European wild cat, that's been a great success that started last year. They, you get them across parts of Europe, but here in the UK, they once roamed all across the UK, and now they are critically endangered and just found up in the Highlands of Scotland. They're a cat species that's got lots of hybridization with domestic cats, as well as other threats. Now, them in captivity in zoos, they've been working really hard over the last years with those captive breeding programs to have a nice, healthy population of European wildcats to go back into the wild. And last year, in June, they actually successfully rewilded and reintroduced 22 European wildcats into the Cairngorms National Park up in Scotland there. And that's been really successful. That they are monitoring them with camera traps and other ways and means of gathering data to see how they're going, how they're surviving. Some of them are having kittens as well, which is amazing. And they are looking to introduce some more. The other cat that currently has also had a reintroduction program is the Amur leopard. This is a critically endangered cat. There is only about 100 to 110 of them left in the wild in Far East Russia. There is a big reserve there called Land of the Leopards. It's 653,000 acres dedicated to their protection. And thanks to that, some of those leopards have over the years been able to go back out there to that reserve in a more natural environment. This obviously takes a long time. It's not going to be any, we've got some lovely Amur leopards here that are part of the breeding program. It's not going to be them that go back in the wild because they have been born and raised in captivity. And the first thing they would do is look for someone in a green polo shirt with a wheelbarrow to feed them dinner. And that's not going to go very well for them. But it'll be their future generations because you want to build up those natural behaviours, slowly take away human care and contact so they can rewild themselves. So that is a programme that has been happening over there. It's stalled a little bit at the moment because of things happening in the world over in that side, but there are some things that are already happening, which is fantastic. In terms of other animals, the Swarovski's horse and the Scimitar-horned oryx. The Scimitar-horned oryx was actually extinct in the wild and only in zoos. Thanks to those amazing breeding and education programs, they have now successfully put them back in the wild and they are thriving. So this is how we were working together there to support species in the wild.
All right, very cool. Jill, the last thing I want to mention today is I have a third link I haven't shared yet for an Adopt a Cat program. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so obviously you're on the other side of the world there. We're actually a closed site here at the Big Cat Sanctuary. We're not open like a zoo every day. People can book private experiences to come along, have tours, meet our cats, and we do educational experiences on site and have our lovely open days in the summer. But everybody can support us by becoming a member of our journey here, or you can adopt and sponsor a cat here at the Big Cat Sanctuary, such as Kira, Maya, Neron, or even our lovely Una as well, the new rescued lion. And you can do that online. You get an adoption pack as well, and that helps support all of our cats at the sanctuaries, no matter where you are in the world. So yeah, I believe there's a link to that as well for you to share.
All right, perfect. It is up there if people want to check it out. Our fourth graders were just wondering, they just sent it in the chat, the big cat that was successfully released, the second one, it was the Amur leopard, is that correct?
I don't know if you said anything there, it cut out, so we just heard a little bit of noise.
Oh, okay. The second cat that you mentioned, was it the Amur leopard that had been successfully released?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'll put that in the chat for them so they want to look it up afterwards. So that's cool.
Definitely. They are beautiful. So
very cool. Well, Jill, I want to start off with a huge shout out to you. And I know Emma was working the camera behind the scenes. So thank you so much to both of you for taking us to the Big Cat Sanctuary today. it was really cool to meet all 3 of the jaguars, to see them having a little snack, to see their beautiful patterns, their enrichment, and to learn a little bit more about them. It was, it looks like a beautiful facility and exciting to see the new construction that's happening to help kind of conserve and protect more big cat species. And then I think we should bring in, shout out to our YouTube classrooms. Thank you for sending in those great questions. Thanks for playing Kahoot with us. And let's bring in our camera classes today. If you guys want a big goodbye and thank you.
Thank you.
So much to our camera classes for being with us today as well. You guys had awesome questions. Very cool. And Jill, that was great. We can't wait to hopefully visit the sanctuary again and learn more about the awesome work you're doing.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for having us today. It has been amazing to share all the work we do for you here. I loved all your questions as well. And well done for doing so well on the Kahoot quiz there and remembering those things. We do virtual online educational visits as well, but we'd love to come back and do another episode on a different one of our amazing cat species next time. But thank you very much for joining today.
Amazing. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Big Cat Sanctuary. We're going to sign off for today. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.